DJ you look to be when you grow up. DJ Johnny, the turntable Don.
Boy fire, give me fire, love fire, oh, boy fire, oh, give me fire, love fire, oh, mama, my body, unjagala no kusenga ko my daddy, natuka, ewafunda, mutima gwange, we gwantuma, nasima face, nasima kalayo, the way you do me, baby, bisaso, kama toka pasati, nze naona kabali, yagala nze mpambale mikufu na midali, that shining, mobula go, like a diamond on your body, yo, boy fire, oh, give me fire, love fire, oh, boy fire, oh, give me fire, love fire, oh, boy fire, oh, give me fire, love fire, oh.
Yes, mugamba mutya.
Fire, oh, give me fire, love fire, oh, and get it. If you love me, let desire. If you love me, let desire. This you might be your yeah. See, I wanted to inspire. Need to do what you aspire. Somebody gonna marry this year. Make the money happen this year. Let me tell you something about this year. This year must be better than last year. It's your year.
Yes, musibi mutya Bulaya Salango Kigundu gabulijjo wano mu masekati ga America. Ndi mu studio wano ndyenjise okulaba engeri gye tugenda okikola olwaleero. Njagala okusooka okubaanirizaako abakuŋŋaanye amangu ddala nti mwebale okukwata obudde. Tugenda kuba nga tutandika mu bbanga ettali lya wala. Nsanyusa okubalaba ku program mugamba mutya. Hello, Diaspora. Salongo Kigundu, the name as always. Thank you for all of you who are here. Right on time. Little bit of time, so I appreciate that. Bwemba mumpulira kati nziguddewo studio ntandika okutestinga emizindalo nkakase nti buli kimu tugenda kubatuulira bulungi. Hello. Madam Secretary, I can go mukubasokete ddala wano. Nsanyusa okulaba. Good to see you. Just let me know if you can hear me very well. Today, I am thrilled that you all are joining. I haven't done live streams in a long time because of scheduling. And of course, even this weekend I scheduled, but a little bit of life that happens. As a result, I had to make some quick changes. But I am here and I'm expecting my guest today, Mr. President Lambert Etibot, Uganda North American President. Because of, again, like I said, the scheduling challenges on weekend, we have family lives and all of that. We had a little bit of a snuff between what time I indicated and what time he had to finish up with the family engagement somewhere, but he's on his way. I am expecting him to join the studio anytime. But in the meantime, I say hello to all of you. Thank you very much for joining. Mwebale ddala okujjako wano ku live stream gyesitera kukola. Mwami Nsereko Ssebo nsanyusa okulaba ddala sibagamba batya. Katugira tuwuliriza ku bulinda matono wano nga bwe nninda ku mwami president nga bwe mbagambye scheduling challenge family life fena tulina bino ebitukwatakwata kale okukakana nga it is kye tuyita okusomoozebwa. Right, so naye essaawa yonna ajja kubanga asobola okutwegattako nemuwulizaako Aliya nga is making his way through Dallas traffic and all of that asobole okutuuka awaka ate n'oluvannyuma tuyongeko. So we're going to be having a conversation with Mr. President. It's been a while since we came out of Dallas. Of course, he's He's been very busy working on a lot of things, as you can imagine. So we want to first talk to him one-on-one. Mugamba Mutia, right? He has a lot to tell us. Then oluvanyuma tumubuuze ne ku updates ku convention ya UNAA. Naye mugira mulaba ku buyimba bwa music buno, obuyimba buno. Buyimba bwa mwami DJ Johnny wa no Minneapolis.
This is how I want it to move it to funny. Take it on, karate gandati. Mera, what am I body? Sit a man, you tell up ready.
Program Mugamba Mutia program mpya wano ku Tukikube.com. Mbantera kubatusako program etibwa agafa mbwengula naye kati olwokubanga sometimes ebimu tebibeera mawulire wabula we get to sit one on one etwogerako n'abantu abalina byensuba era nga zibimanyi nti balina bye batugamba kati ng'omukulu ono president wa UNAA alina byalina okubanga byatusobola okutugamba naffe tulina bitumubuuza oba olyawo so kati katugira tumulindalindako naye tugira tulaba ku buyimba obwo.
Chokamba is what I do. I'm very good company. Chop up my yakwakala. No go tankulota. Chop up my yantakaza. And the love is a monera. That's why my baby said.
Andele, sudia, andele,
baby girl,
sunina.
she said,
Andele, sudia.
Yes, abali eddala mujjukira nti kyali kyakabi nnyo convention za UNAA abantu bazitanira lwa nsonga nti kyenyo kyekibiina ffenna bannayuganda mwe tweyungira wano mu America ey'omu mambuka.
can you play that song for?
The Uganda North America Association. This is the association, the umbrella association that brings all of us together as Ugandans living here in North America. And today I have the pleasure of speaking to Mr. Lambert Etibot, its newly elected president.
Oh, because of your strength, oh yes. Chagala kuwebya nino nyumirwe. Kotule mukatebe kosirike. Kutabuka kachanina munsi. Kankukube nempeto joke. Kokenda kumfumbira.
Ate a little bit different this time around. And most of you who have been following the Ugandan North America Association, I see something different lately, which is a very proactive and active First Lady. Mrs. Etibot, Mrs. Pamela Etibot, has sprung up in Nigeria. She's taking her role seriously and she's already engaged. I can see lately she's been advertising an event, extravaganza, it's called. A ladies' high tea extravaganza, which is scheduled to happen April 27th in Dallas, Texas. Panafa bali okumpi awo Dallas, Texas. Temwagala kukisubwa awo nawo kugenda Oklahoma. Neri ewa mwami Kabugwe Austin. Mutegezebwa nti mukyala Pamela Etibot ngono ye First Lady abategekedde kacyayi abaami babagambye nti bwe mutaleete bumpwanki tebujja kukkirizibwa kusembera wali.
DJ Johnny.
Program mugamba mutya Bulaaya program mpya ng'ogyeko amawulire ge mbadde nga baweereza bulijjo ge mumanyi agafa mbwengula ekibalukawo kye mbatuusaako kye ndabanga mwandibadde mukitegeddeko oba ne muba mwakitegeddeko nkiteekako essira. agofa mbwengula naye kati wano mugamba butya ntuula n'omuntu gemmanyi kyalina okuba nga atugamba kakivula banga olwaleero tulina essanyu okuba nti pulezidenti wa UNAA yakkiriza okujja okutwegattako. Mukkirizibwa okukuba ku ssimu ne mumbuuzaako, mukkirizibwa muli bamukisa okukuba ne ku ssimu ne mumbuuzaako nga bwe tulinda pulezidenti ali kumpi okutwegattako. Madam Secretary, tukubire kasimu otubuuzeeko, tubaagala okubuuzaako naawe oluusi oba obaagala kubajjukiza obajjukize nti convention egenda kubeera Washington. Ndaba nga mwami Lambert ayingidde mu studio essaawa 8:30. Wuyo omwami Lambert Etibot, president wa Uganda North America Association abange omanyi nayiga okubyogera mu Luganda oluusi ngenda mbigwa mu Lungereza. Studio number eri ku flyer, mukyala Mbabazi abuuzizza agambye studio number eri ku flyer. Hello?
Chantal Mbabazi.
To accept, press 1. To send a voice.
Mr. President, nsanyusa okulaba. Looks like nfunye akakisa wano nabadde nkulindako nga bwe ntesting ebintu nteeka nga mukyala Chantal Mbabazi agezaako okutukubira. Hello? Okay, tujja kumufuna akadde. Tujja kumufuna edda. Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
I want to make sure you can hear me.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, all right. Let me get my volume up here too so I can hear you very well.
Okay. We're not live yet, are we?
Yes, we are, because I had to...
Right, to start.
Yes, I already told everybody why we were waiting for you, because I know scheduling is a challenge. You had... to attend to family and that kind of thing. So I already communicated that we have to wait a little bit, but I had to go live so that we can talk to you, talk to our viewers, not to keep them waiting and not knowing what was going to happen. So let me make sure that I can be heard very well. And we're going to be talking to them in a few. Just 1 second. I was playing some accompanying music as we waited for you.
Thank you.
All right. I think I look better there. Take away the music. Okay, so first of all, I need to make sure I can hear. Let's stop the music. Okay. Okay. Oh, I lost myself there. I needed to find the music and cut it off. Mr. President, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Loud and clear. I can hear you very well. Welcome to my studio. Thank you very much for accepting my invite to come here this afternoon. I want to give you a moment because I know you had to rush in real quick from an engagement, family obligation. And I already communicated to the gathering community that you will be here shortly, and I'm glad that you are here. Maybe let me let you say a quick hello, and then I'll give you a moment to gather yourself. I don't want to rush you. We are here. We have the whole afternoon.
Right.
Yeah, we are here. We have the whole afternoon. So I know you came in rushing. So I want you to settle in a 2-3 minutes, and then we'll kick off. Please say hello to the gathering community.
Thank you so much, Salongo, Robert, for this moment that you've given UNA, not just me as the president, but this moment that you've given UNA to share on Tukikube once again. Viewers out there, UNA members, good afternoon, good evening to all of you. My name is Lambert Etibot. I'm the UNA president, and I'm here today at Tukikube, just saying hi to you guys and just to give you an update on where we are as an organization and also share insights and where we will be going as an organization. So I'm looking forward to getting questions from you, those that have questions, but I'm also looking forward to sharing with you what we've been doing so far as a leadership. Thank you so much, and looking forward to the discussion. Thank you to Tukikube. Thank you, back to you.
Yeah,
Robert.
thank you. Thank you. Fantastic. I'm excited. I'm excited to have you. I'm going to put on the music once again a little bit. Our viewers, please, there's going to be two ways to communicate. When I open up the studio line, we'll be able to call in if you have a question. But at the same time, there's a chat. You can also chat, and I will be watching the chat room. So if any question comes up, I'll be making note. So that way we will engage with our president. Thank you very much for your patience. We will play some music a little bit, allow Mr. President to take a breather from the hectic Dallas traffic.
DJ Johnny.
Cannot deny you. I wanna wake up to your smile every day. Please don't fight it. You know I love you. Don't you wanna wake up to my smile every day? You gave me my freedom. No politician, you're the one to blame. When my yamanyorina, sitarina chenwanyisa. Wankuba targeti nani sisobola kujepena. Waite bigezo, abalala bye batayita. You are the true love that I've been waiting for. The freshest people around King Kong, Lucky Joe.
She said, I need this son. Every single. She wants this son.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As always, Salongo Chigondo is my name. Thank you very much for gathering here this afternoon. I haven't done live streams in a while, but today I decided let me do one because I have this brand new program. Besides the popular news program that I do, Agafa Mwengula, today I decided to add on a little twist and start talking to people one-on-one. And I am very excited that the United President accepted the invitation to join us, and he has had to rush through traffic, Dallas traffic, and he's here. Sebo, Mr. President, thank you very much for joining me once again. It's so exciting to have you here, and I'm going to kick this off right away by expressing my gratitude that you have accepted to be guest number 2 on this brand new show I call Mugamba Mutia. Mugamba Mutia truly translated as What Say You? Abamanyi Uganda lwensinga okukozesa ene program eno njita Mugamba Mutia lwa nsonga eyo nti I know once in a while I have to sit down and talk to people besides the news that I disseminate here and there. Once in a while I gotta sit down and talk to people, and I know there are people that have something to say. Hence the title of the show, Mugamba Mutia. Mr. President, what say you? How have you been? It's good to see you. Thank you very much for joining me here today.
You're most welcome. I'm doing very well. Thank you. Life hasn't been bad at all. I can't complain. Blessed to be here. Greetings from the First Lady, Pamela. She sends her regards to you as well. We're here. The family is healthy. We thank God. All is well. And things are moving well in UNAA. So, so far, no complaints on my end. Thank you.
So you live in a Dallas community. You lived there for a long time. I know that I don't know if that's where you started your leadership journey, but I know that for as long as I've been following you, you've been living in the Dallas community, and I know you served in the ranks there. I don't know where you started. Were you an NOC1 chairman or something? Whatever they call it in Dallas. I know you started down there. Please help me and the UNAA member walk us through that journey. How did you pick up interest in becoming a leader to where you are today? Let's start with way back down there in Dallas.
Thank you so much, Salvo. So my leadership journey began way back in 2013. That's when I first joined community leadership here in Dallas. Before that, I was serving in my church, which was a community church here in Dallas. And we happened to hold a wedding ceremony. I'd just come to the US in 2011. So a lot of people were just getting to meet me then. And I was just known to the members of my church at the time. And then doing that event exposed me to the rest of the community. And then when Dallas held that election in 2013, the leadership at the time picked interest in me to run for the position of publicity secretary. So I came in, and I think that was the same year Dallas as a city was picked as the host city for the 2013 convention. So it was an exciting time. I got to be in the doing the publicity role on the local level, but also helped here and there in the convention for the very first time. And from that position and that experience, I picked interest in UNAA as well. And I've been following the convention pretty much from that time, and everywhere it went, I've pretty much gone through all those conventions. Maybe missed one or two, but I think I've been consistent. I was consistent all through. But I served as publicity secretary for 1 year, and then the vacuum came up to become community president in 2014, and I ran for that position, and I was elected as community president for the Ugandan American Association of Dallas-Fort Worth. When I got elected for that position, into that position, I think that's when we had also the president of Uganda coming into the Dallas community. So it was a very challenging experience, being able to host somebody, a high-profile person like that, while you're still very new in leadership. And I think after going through that whole situation, I just knew I had it for leadership. I kind of had an understanding of all the dimensions leadership could take. So I was in that position. I was president for the local community here in Dallas from 2014 to 2017. And I took a break. It was 2000. Yeah, I mentored younger leaders who took over from me, and I was now more focused onto raising family. Of course, over the years, I came into the US. I just had my daughter. She was 1 year and 6 months at the time. Now she's 14, and I added another 2 who are now 10 and 8. So It was a handful.
You done well. You done
Yeah,
well.
so
That's a good one.
it was a handful, so I had to take a break from leadership. But then in 2017, we had an election in Miami, and again, by then, we had the president of UNA, Mr. Mande Atigo, was from Dallas. The executive secretary, Mr. Peter Mukunya, was also from Dallas, and these were very close friends at the time. They were very close friends here in Dallas, so we had to show them our support. Yeah. So I happened to help in organizing the convention in Miami because we didn't have a community there. And while having a competition here on our local level, I happened to injure my ankle. Okay, after I had been handed the responsibility of organizing alongside the executive secretary, we were trying to put together that convention. And then 2 weeks to the convention, I get injured in a soccer game that we had at the community level. So a lot of people remember Lambert.
I've heard that famous story. Lambert in
right.
the casket.
In a casket, running a convention. So that was me. So 2017, I was putting together a convention along with the president and the team and the executive secretary at the time on a wheelchair. Yeah. And it was a tasking time, but then it was never really my interest at the time to go into UNA leadership. I just love to be the person that supports those in leadership, to see that, while they're out there addressing issues, they have somebody they can trust on the back end getting things done. So I just loved to do that at the time. So we did that in Miami, and then we went on to Seattle. And it's in Seattle that I got to meet a lot of people, because I happened to be in a meeting where people were expressing interest in running for for the positions in UNA, but in 2019. And then that's when, Madam Henrietta, who is our immediate past president, reached out and she said, Lambert, we've seen how passionate you are. Sorry. I think my light went out here. We've seen how passionate you are with leadership, and we want to see that you're involved. You get involved. So looking at how you can, there we go. Looking at how, sorry about that. Yeah.
Remember issues in Dallas? What's going on?
No. I think it's the motion light that went out. Yeah, right. So, yeah. So when Madam Henrietta reached out, we had big discussions about it, and I really could see that we would go a long way. I never envisioned that we would work so well for 4 good years and things like that. But I understood her vision and her passion for the organization. And I said, you know what, if that is what you guys see in me, then let's go for it. At the time, I only knew what goes on in the convention. I didn't understand, the different groups and the dynamics. No, I wasn't so into all that. Yeah. So that's how I came into 2019 to your city. Mr. Chigondu.
That's when I started paying attention. I'm like, who is this guy?
Who is this guy? Yeah, because I remember we worked hand in hand, of course, with now the executive secretary, Madame Chantal Mbabazi, to see that, that convention shapes up well, given the experience. I remember coming for the boat cruise visit. It was the site visit generally, but I happened to be with you that time. And we had kind of a challenge having me speak out about the convention, and yet also being that now I'm a candidate, I shouldn't be seen trying to talk about the convention. It might be considered a conflict.
I know.
Yeah, so we're like, okay, let's identify other people to market this, and let's not put Lambert out there. Yeah. But maybe one thing that is also of significance, and just for the viewers who are out there, and I always say this, that as a leader or just as an individual out there that, has a vast amount of talents that you can exploit, sometimes you don't know where your path leads, okay? But when it comes to community service, just give it your best. Because in Seattle, we were supposed to have Alex Muhanji, I believe. And no, Alex Muhanji did come. We were supposed to have another individual that was supposed to be the master of ceremony for the Saturday lunch, okay?
Yeah.
And I happened to be in that ballroom that day, helping again with the preparations. The individual had missed their flight. Okay.
Oh, man.
And they needed someone to step in and get of course, the guest speakers had already arrived. I believe the mayor of the city and whoever else, the delegates were already seated. So they needed someone to get the event going. And of course, being a small time MC in my community, my people know me, so they give me this role. So it was supposed to be that kind of small scale MCing, not the UNAA level of MCing, So, but they're like, no, Lambert, no, you can do it. Just jump up there, just do what you do. Yeah. So I got up on stage. I was able to do that. This was Seattle, 2018.
Yeah.
Before we even had that discussion about coming into leadership and all that. See?
Right.
Yeah. So I believe these things were just shaping up, and that's when people started picking interest and asking me, "Are you interested in this and that?" But then again, the similar situation happened. You remember what happened to us in Chicago? Two of our MCs that were supposed to be MCing that event did not show up. Yeah. And again, I was to step in. Now, when I stepped in, and Chigundu, you can remember that time when I was telling you that this is a hard job. One part of you is being pulled that you're going to lose an election because you should be out in the lobby campaigning. Here you are trying to see that things are flowing in order. Who is going to care about all this when you lose the election? So you're conflicted.
Yeah, that is. Absolutely.
Yeah, but in the end,
I almost forgot when you actually started MCing. I know before you pulled in Daniel that you did MC at one point, but I was almost forgetting. So thank you for that narration. Now it's coming back together. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, as an encouragement for somebody that's watching out there, all these things, not a single one was I doing intentionally. All this was, stepping in because there was a gap. Okay. Yeah. And I remember when we got to the Sunday dinner in Chicago during that 2019 election, everybody was just so scared about what the results would be like. And for me, I was just exhausted because it had been 3 tedious days. Yeah. You're barely sleeping, it's one thing after another. And then the hotel was so huge that just walking from the ballroom to go change into a suit and come back and do what you're required to do was just so tedious, Yeah. So by the time they were reading results, honestly, I wasn't paying attention to who had won. And that's because when they read my name, I had kind of zoned out at that time because I was on the side of the stage. That's why these guys lifted me up. They're like, look, they need you up there and you're not paying attention. Let us celebrate. Yeah. So for those who were seeing the videos from home, they thought, I was almost falling off, but it was because I was not attentive. That is when I got elected for the first time into UNAA as the executive secretary.
Let me stop you right there before we go to when you became executive secretary. I want to read a few messages. There are a couple of people watching you from hometown, Dallas, Texas, and see Auntie Jolie Kahunde says, hello, my son Salongo Chigundi. Hello, Auntie Jolie. And she said hello to Mr. President. And I think Madam Secretary says from a wheelchair to a president. Apparently, she's calling that out loud and clear.
Right. Yeah.
Before you go into when you became actually executive secretary, I want to slide back a little bit backwards because I don't want to forget the question that I wanted to ask you, which was, you said when you took a sabbatical, you did mentor some individuals. I wanted to know who are those? Who are those that you kind of mentored to stepping into leadership while you stepped away? Who are those?
Thank you so much, Salongo. So you're very familiar with the gentleman that took over from me, Mr. Cyrus Mukisa, who also came into UNA. Now he's actually the current youth representative male for the US on the UNA side. Yeah. Yes, so he took over.
Very young at that time.
He was, he was very young.
Wow.
Yeah. And then after Cyrus Mukisa, we had Mrs. Florence Bazanye Tugume, who also went on to come to UNA as the EC chairperson for Electoral Commission. Yeah, she took over after Cyrus.
Okay.
And after her now we have Daniel Ngole, who is a very familiar face also in UNA. He's been our host all through. Yes. So as you can see, we kind of have a way we mentor leaders within the community, and the Dallas has actually been very instrumental in shaping up leaders for UNA. Because everyone that leads our local organization somehow represents us well also on the UNA side, including the past president, Mr. Mande Atigo. He was also in the local leadership at one time, as I think he was a treasurer and vice president at one time. Mr. Peter Mukunya was also a vice president here at the local level. So it's kind of, we try you out down here, and then we elevate you to UNA. So it's been working out for Dallas. Yeah.
Been working out. Actually, Dallas produced the youngest UNA president ever, right?
President. And I'm sorry to skip Brian. Brian now is based in Maryland, but also Brian at the time, we were behind him. In fact, 2013, that is when Brian was a resident here, and he became UNA president. And there are also elders in the community, you know, like Honorable Muriba, Dr. Busenkai. I could go on with the list, you know, all the way back into the 90s. All these people were leaders in the community and also were leaders in UNA. So Dallas has that structure kind of defined.
That was before we in Chicago kind of swung in and started pulling things away from you, right?
Right. But in a good way. Because when you look at it today, it's like Dallas and Chicago are kind of in sync when it comes to UNA leadership. And I think that I would attribute it to, you know, having worked with Madame Henrietta closely, and, you know, her being a very strong pillar in the Chicago community, and myself also being a strong pillar here in the Dallas community.
All right, fantastic. So a lot of people cheering you on here. Daniel, of course, Owedobozi, he says we are here.
Mr. President, greetings to you.
Yeah, Florence Bazanye, Josephine Matovu. Josephine, nice hearing from you. Continue representing UNA, our UNA well. Madam Secretary.
Madam BOT Secretary.
Madam Secretary says, Dallas people, thank you for your support. Thank you all for joining us. Quick break, then we go into when you actually became when you became executive secretary, right? That's where we kind of veered off, and I took you back into Dallas. So I want to go back there so we can hear that story again when you became executive secretary and what your experiences have been in that role before you became president.
Uganda North American Association UNAA ekuyita ku olukungano lwa Annual Convention and Trade Expo 2024 olw'omulundi ogwasatu mu omukaaga okuva nga 3 Agusto paka Septemba nga 2 ku USA Capital Washington DC. Booking a hotel yo ku Gaylord Resort National Harbour ba entrepreneurs ba vendors ba exhibitors abayimbi bannakatemba n'abaana bitone mwenna mwanirizibwa. Jangu onyumire weekend ejjudde business networking culture ne entertainment. Weewandise kati ku Post Bank oba Housing Finance Bank ekuli okumpi okwewandisa kwa $240 zokka nga weesogga Annual Convention and Trade Expo 2024 ey'omulundi gw'asatu mu omukaaga etegekeddwa Uganda North American Association UNAA.
Okay. All right, as we say.
Thank you.
Mr. Dan Chigenyi says he's listening in from El Paso. Thank you for listening in. All right. So now let's go to now you're becoming executive secretary. How did you find that role? You did that for 2 terms, right?
Correct.
Walk us through that journey, please.
Thank you again. We get elected in 2019, and we take over office. And the advantage we had was that the president who got elected, Madame Henrietta, had been secretary, actually 2-term secretary, way back. I think that was 2011 to 2010 to 2013. Yes, yeah. So she had the most experience on the team at the time, and really all I had to do was work alongside her and tap into that knowledge and see what we needed done. And we were able to achieve a lot. Of course, during the start, it was a bit hectic. We had to get a few financial records in order. Some of the accounts had just been switched, and we had to get those done right and things like that. So, but overall, we went in with the right mindset, and it was just a smooth operation all through. Okay. All I can say is that the programs that we wanted in place, we were able to start them, like the insurance program that we have today began that year. We began discussions for that because we were having so many challenges with communities raising mabugo and all these different things. So, yes, and we were starting to base our leadership on that. When your name was put out there to be elected, people would say, nayo yotazika, obata gaba mabugo, things like that. You don't represent or you don't show up when people, which it's understandable. Yeah. That is our nature. But in a country like this, you need a program that even if someone has an excuse like a busy schedule or work, we are not stranded, because these things happen. We're in a country that we all understand how things go. So we were able to launch that program. We offered a lot of resources, scholarships, information on different programs offered in universities. At one point, we attempted exchange programs with Uganda. There's a lot of things, they're listed on the website that we offered at the time. And all these were trial runs, and we continued pushing them in the second term. And actually, I'm working on those programs. Some of them are running well. Some we're still trying to make sure they kick off as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are those who are saying, Mr. Zimbe, thank you for following. Thank you for joining. Yes, you will be able to, you can type your question. I'm watching the queue. I can read it out. And I think there was a gentleman called William Vuma, who also said he has a question. Please feel free to type your question. I'll do the best I can to read them out. And ultimately, later on, I'll open up the studio line and we'll see if we can get it to work and have some of you actually voice out your questions live. So, but thank you all for joining us this afternoon. You're watching Mugamba Mutia Bulaya. This is a brand new program. And the concept is very simple. Besides the news that I do regularly, now I've decided I'm going to have to sit, occasionally sit down with people that I know have something to say. What say you, Mugama Muti? And I figured Mr. President here has something to tell us. And evidently, we've been here for almost half an hour already since he joined us, and we're continuing to get inspired from his experience from when he started out way back in Dallas to where he is today. So, Executive Secretary, so you organized how many conventions in that role?
All right. So it's been 4 conventions. Maybe the one I can shed a lot more light on that was very challenging. Right after we took over office, we went to San Francisco. That was 2020. And we had acquired a hotel, we had secured a boat cruise contract, and everything was set in stone for the 2020 San Francisco convention. And that is when we were hit by COVID. So, we tried to hold on, and we had hoped it would just be, just like everybody else, every school, every company, we thought this would be, a pandemic for a week, a month. We did not know it would stretch that long,
Yeah.
So we had to cancel that convention painfully. We had made some payments to the hotel and deposits to the boat cruise as well, but we had to cancel that because of the pandemic. But we didn't let our membership down. As you know, that was the time we launched our very first online convention.
Yeah.
And I worked hand in hand, of course, we as the executive worked hand in hand with the former communications director, who is now a board of trustees, Mr. Julius Kabugu. Yeah. And we ran a very successful, for the very first time in UNAA, online convention. And
okay,
that was a very, the pandemic is back. Yeah, that was.
I don't know how you guys took a deep breath and continued working through a pandemic. You
right.
You went into these positions with a whole different program, and now you had to deal with the pandemic.
The pandemic, yeah.
I think you inspired a lot of us when you put on that online virtual convention, because it was unprecedented. Nobody knew how that would work. But some of us, having seen what you did, were able to put on a convention in our other formation, which is a cultural organization, which we'll talk about these cultural organizations in a little bit. But
right,
we were inspired by what you guys did. So that was fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And I want to say, Mr. Chigundu, that there was something very, very beneficial to UNAA as an organization that happened at that time. We had about 4,200 contacts in our database. When we ran our online convention in 2020, we grew that number by over 2,000. We were sitting at about 2,000, and then 6,000, about 6,300. Okay. So, and up to today, it's kind of given us a boost, because when we communicate, as opposed to, getting 50% responses, that has kind of increased, So we now have a bigger reach. Some of the discussions we had, because they were live streamed, are still gathering views on YouTube and Facebook. Yeah. And we get people telling us things like, hey, can you guys repeat this kind of program for UNAA? And all this we were able to do during the online convention. We had the Trade and Investment Forum that was run by Moses Wilson at the time. We managed it here in the US. He was in Uganda at the time. And half of his panel was also in Uganda. Yeah. And we had other panelists here in the US. And we were able to pull off a full day Trade and Investment Forum, and with very good interactions and progressive programs that maybe we'll share in the as we discuss going forward.
Yeah. So what happened there is in when I go into my Uganda, we have a saying that says "Akugoba yakuwe kubo," meaning if whoever chases you out of his house is truly he's the same person that actually paves your way into your next destination. If somebody chases you out of your house, he inadvertently or he unknowingly is creating another pathway for you. So the pandemic really helped us see that it is possible to do something that turned out to be the most well attended. All these forums were the most well attended. You can see somebody in Uganda conducting a forum, you know, and other people are attending from all over the world. You almost want to say, maybe we should try it again. I don't want to say that, but I want to say it and I don't want to say it.
We can incorporate it. We can try it again. You know, the most challenging part was the entertainment. Okay, because what you call the virtual DJing, I think was at the peak at the time. And we held a night like that pretty much every night. And we kind of had a backlash, you know, because a lot of places were on lockdown. It was just Texas and Florida, I believe, that the lockdown restrictions were not as serious. So I was able to host a few people here for that virtual light, and I believe in Chicago there was a group, and like in so many different homes, a lot of people decided to put the UNAA dinner celebration on big screen and have a few friends come over and watch. So there were so many watch parties going on in different homes all around all around North America per se, and then after that, we started receiving, you know, comments. How could UNAA go ahead and do this? You know, the pandemic is still out there. You people out there, you know, enjoying yourselves. It was a big backlash, but, you know, we had to do what we could. At the time, we were again worrying about the depression of the members, the mental health of the members, because we had all been on lockdown and, you know, our social being was being affected. So we're like, okay, you know, that's when you started hearing things like, you know, life is too short, or, you know, do what you can today. And, you know, there's different slogans in Uganda that, you know, people have on their shirts and all that started coming out. All that stuff came out during that time. But really, it was like there was no telling if the pandemic was going away. And as human nature, we were starting to adapt, and we wanted to bring our old ways that we are used to now and live with it and try and be happy in the moment, knowing that, you know, out there is a pandemic, but hey, I cannot just be stressed and depressed in the house. Let me celebrate with those that we can celebrate with, you know. And we went through that period just well. Of course, we had a few challenges here and there. Some communities were hit hard, but we still stood strong as an organization, and the membership kept going. So,
you did well. You did well. You managed the pandemic. We went into Cincinnati at the tail end of the pandemic. And we were challenged with other things. You had planned a whole outdoor African experience in the middle of the city. So you've been very creative. So let me ask you this: how have these experiences, as you've narrated from Dallas, how has that helped you run UNAA now that you're president? How these experiences and everything that you've seen and watched coming out of Dallas as rising through the ranks, and how you found yourself into leadership. It wasn't your intention, you say, but now you got into it, and you have broken legs, and then you're limping up again, and you're springing up randomly to become an MC, and you continue to challenge yourself. How has this experience now, how is this helping you lead this 35-year-old organization?
That's a very...
Yeah. Is it very loaded? Did I say too much?
No. No, but that's a very, very good question. And I think I'm going to approach it. I'm going to approach it in a way that I inspire somebody out there that is listening as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah, because I think to your answer, all that I've been through, I believe, was for this position. Much as I didn't think that I would come to this position back then, I think all that prepared me for this position. Because considering all the challenges that we've gone through over the years, while, in the position that I was in as executive secretary, I kind of understood the organization, from the smallest thing that happens in the organization to probably the biggest. I know everything. And as executive secretary, you're pretty much the clerk, or you're the administrator for the organization. So you know everything about finance, you know everything about organizing, you know about the local chapters, you know about the sponsors, you have an idea about everything. Now, you may choose to delegate a lot of those, or your members of the executive may pick on some of those roles, but you have an idea what goes on in the entire spectrum of the organization. The thing is, without those experiences, I wouldn't be as, confident in leadership as president today as I am. Today, I don't think there would be a new challenge that would face in UNAA as an organization that we have no idea on how to resolve. Today I sit here, but I can say with the resources I have, just from past presidents that, give me guidance and counsel here and there, there wouldn't be any new challenge that we wouldn't be able to come up with a solution to get it resolved. Yeah. But I guess what I can give as an inspiration to everyone out there is that do not take your role in the local community or in your church or whatever small organization you're in. It could even be volunteering in a school. Whatever small role or responsibility you're given, give it your best, apply all your talents as you've been gifted by God, and deliver. You never know where that is building up to in the future. When I was doing a lot of this earlier voluntary services in the communities, it wasn't like I was chasing after anything. It was just what I could do, and it was what I could offer at the time.
Okay.
Yeah. And now here I am, and I am basing off of that experience to lead the organization.
Fantastic. Let me take another quick break, and then I will go into my next question. Thank you very much for all of you. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. You're watching Mugamba Mutia Bulaya, brand new program on Tukikube.com. Most of you have seen me disseminate news, but now I'm beginning to sit down and talk to individuals. Mr. Arthur Zimbe has got a question. I guess maybe you will answer it so that they don't pile up when you come back. His question is in the chat here. He says, what programs do you have to support the Ugandan diaspora communities in the U.S.? How do you facilitate cultural exchange between Uganda and the U.S.? I guess we will get to that in a little bit. Mr. Zimbe, thank you for that question. Commercial
The
break.
Ugandan North American Association, UNAA, invites you to their 36th Annual Convention and Trade Expo 2024 from August 30th to September 2nd at the USA Capital, Washington, D.C. Book your hotel at Gaylord Resort National Harbor. Entrepreneurs, vendors, exhibitors, artists, all are welcome. Come enjoy a weekend of business, networking, culture, and entertainment. Register today at Post Bank or Housing Finance Bank near you. Registration is $240 only. Be part of the 36th Annual Convention and Trade Expo 2024 from August 30th to September 2nd at the USA Capitol, Washington, D.C.
All right. Mr. President, I think I'm going to make a note of the question. I guess we'll get to it in a little bit. I wanted to first finish up with you in your presidential role now, and I kind of sped into there, but I want to step back and first congratulate you before I forget again. Congratulations upon your being elected president in Dallas, Texas. I don't know if you want to use the opportunity to communicate in any way to the member body and everybody else that will be watching this, because I'm hoping that this outlet is the first one you spoke to since you got elected. I want to pat myself on the back and say, hey, but I know that you've been busy, I assume, working on a lot since you got elected in Dallas, Texas. This is the opportunity now for you to communicate if you have to thank those who elected you, that sort of a thing. And then I will go into the next question of mine, which is going to be, now that you are president and you've gone through all this journey, you've been observing this community. Have you seen anything that challenges us, any behaviors that you think we ought to correct? Because now I'm starting to go into what you see. What is your take on our community as you've seen it now that you've become president and you've gone through this journey? How do you see the community? What do you see challenging us? Where do you want us to go into the future? So that's going to be the next segment. But first, please feel free to blow your trumpet. Blow your trumpet. Blow your trumpet.
Thank you so much again, Salongo, for having me here. Members, thank you so much. It's a good evening here on my side. I want to say a happy belated Women's Day to all the women out there. And what I'm going to say as I give thanks to you, the membership, is I want to relate with the theme that the International Women's Body, based on this Women's Day celebration. Yeah. And the theme is let's inspire inclusion. Okay. And with that said, I want to thank all the members of UNAA as a whole. Not just those that supported me. Very much I would want to thank you that supported me, but I want to thank all members of UNAA. First and foremost, because you took on the responsibility to choose leadership for your organization. And because you took on that very big task, now I ask that you support the leadership that you put in place. And there may be those that, you only understood one candidate because that was the candidate that approached you. But in every election, there is a winner and there will be a loser. So it's only paramount that, you put that behind and work with the leaders that are in place. UNAA is a socially founded organization, if I may put it. So the work that we do is not for career building. This is not a political career building opportunity or anything like that. It is service to you as a member. So if the leader you had hoped to fulfill whatever your interests were didn't go through, you can work with us, okay? And to me, I believe we are keeping our doors open. If you notice today, we have a very calm environment in UNAA. And the reason we've created that calm environment is for ideas to prosper. You cannot have strong ideas grow where there is a lot of turmoil, where there is infighting and things like that. So the calm that we have today in UNA is for ideas to grow. And some of the things you've seen us do may not be as pronounced because we're not trying so much to push this to you, the membership, but these are very big projects that are happening on the side. When you look at a project like, for example, if I talk about the tech forum, Mr. Chigundu, that you're involved in, that forum is running independently. The challenge we've been facing before is that we had a general platform and we put everybody there. So one person is discussing politics, the other one is discussing, tech, the other one is just making fun and sharing memes and all these different things. Right. And in such an environment, we tend to knock heads a lot, and it's a non-productive environment. However, we also still need that kind of environment for those that are comfortable in places like that, those with thick skin, because in those environments, it's where you can actually do the marketing. Okay. So what we've done is we've created platforms on the side for example, we have the tech forum where only those who are interested in tech join that forum. And you can see that it's working because people throw questions on there. Like I know a gentleman, excuse me. There was a gentleman, Chigundu, that was having a challenge with a code and something with his computer, and a solution was provided on there. In as late as 2 minutes, and we also have another forum, the Wall Street or the Investment Forum, and that group is also flourishing. And where you put like minds, you can see that there is productive discussion going on. We're currently building the Education Forum as well, where those that are interested in that kind of line can go, and we're going to continue building these committees that way. So that, you cannot complain because social media is always going to be there. It's always going to be with us. And there are people who get on social media to do social things. So it is bad for you who is trying to do business to be hurt that people are socializing, while for you, you mean business. You're doing it probably in the wrong place. Okay. So do it in the right place. And then when you have the time to joke around and, follow through, that is where you want to be. So with those insights, Chigun, I think we are headed on the right direction. And viewers, I want you to have faith in the leadership that we have in place. Some of these things that we're doing are not things you can just flip around and they get done. These are things that involve you, the membership. And sometimes when we roll out a program, it takes you guys time to get on that program. But it doesn't stop us from rolling it out. So bear with us and also work with us. But I think overall, together we are headed the right direction. And again, I also want to echo the fact that, those leaders who did not go through, do not sit back at home and abandon the organization. There is always a chance for leadership. I'm not here forever, just like the past leaders were not there forever. My term will also come to an end, but you have a chance to continue with the work that was started before, that the work that I'm doing now, and whatever intentions you have to add, whatever projects or ideas you want to implement, you can bring them to us now, or you can also come back again and let's continue serving the membership. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much. That's, hey, you have gathered a lot of experience and knowledge in this journey. That was very powerful. Thank you very much. So anyway, but I still, I'm going to say that we still challenged a little bit by some of, these are my observations and I want to get your reaction. Like in the technology forum, and I bet you other forums may be experiencing the same thing. We are trying to attract. We know some of us in the community that have become very skilled and capable and in positions and of influence and the likes. We want to attract them to come and share their experience, their knowledge, and engage with the community in these forums. But when we go out to invite them, some of them you could see they're a little bit apprehensive. about coming to UNA. I don't know what fits into that. I may have some theories, but I want to hear if you have you've observed that and if you have anything to say to it, because I've seen a little bit of apprehension. Okay, I'll come, but you can see they may not be that enthusiastic. And I'm talking about individuals who could actually bring a lot of value to the community. That is a challenge. I don't know if it the way we've misused some social media, or I don't know. Have you thought about it? Have you noticed that it is a little bit harder to attract some of who we want to attract from our community to come and engage and influence our minds?
Thank you so much, Igunde. Actually, that's a very, very, very instrumental point you bring out in that question. Mm-hmm. And again, it could be a teaching moment for the membership. It also is a good awakening for us as a whole. So the question you ask does not only apply to those people we intend to bring to speak. It also applies to people we try to get to lead the organization. Okay. And I think for the members that are listening to me today and those that get to watch this video, I think this starts with how we behave in our, the way we approach issues on social media, the kind of brand we hold as an organization. Because for one to tarnish UNA, you're not just tarnishing it for today. You're basically tarnishing the brand as a whole. And if you've noticed, I've been myself and then the past president, Madame Henrietta, we've been fighting for the UNA brand to be left clean. For example, if you have a problem with myself, Lambert, it is better you address it with Lambert or through the proper channels and not drag the UNA brand, the organization, into that fight. Because when you drag that name, UNA, down that fight, then you tarnish the reputation of the organization. And Chigon, to relate to what you're saying, we write invitations, for example, you write an invitation to, let's say, for example, the city of Dallas, okay? And you're trying to get the governor to be involved. Much as they would want to be involved, they do a little research on the organization. When they do that research, what they find are basically rants and articles that are so negative about the organization. They do not want to be associated with that. That is a big problem. When you reach out, when, like, for example, right now, we are looking at, who do we want to be keynote? Who do you want to be the guest speaker for this? But when you reach out to these people, they're going to do a little research. And some of them are very successful Ugandans out there who, because of their reputation and probably the line of work they do, some of them even work for government, they do not want their reputation dragged into, something like that. Now, some of them don't get the right information about the organization, because then how Ugandans work. Let's say, for example, if I, Lambert, I'm reached out to speak at UNA, I could call Chigon and ask him, because I haven't been familiar maybe with how UNA things work. So I call you and I ask you, maybe the president of the organization has written to me to speak at their event. What is this UNA thing about and what do they actually do? And your response literally can make or break the organization to this individual. Yeah. And a lot of times, we reach out to these very prominent people that, we want to bring to share, their success stories or, get involved in the organization. Because if you're an immigrant and you came here years back, this is an organization that you should use as a platform to share your experience or whatever lessons you've learned so we can help the next generation. So if the person you call discourages you from being able to share your knowledge, then you're not benefiting the organization and you're not helping that next generation. So I think we as members need to have that understanding. And I get it. Sometimes a leader or the organization may wrong you in some way. I don't know. But it does not make sense for you to go tarnish the image of the organization. Because then you're not just you're not hurting the leader at the time, but you're hurting the organization for a long time to come. So I think it's something that we ought to do. And Chigun, if you don't mind, even on social media today, the things that we write about, because I represent UNA today, but I won't be representing UNA probably in the next 2 years, okay? But if you're going to drag UNA down because you're trying to put up a fight against Lambert, then the next leader has to deal with that same problem. And then the following leader has to deal with it, because these articles, once you put them out, you can go and put UNA today on Google. You'll get, the fights from 2017, things that happened in 2016, things of the past. And when people read this, it appears current, and no one is paying attention that the organization has improved. So we're trying to do all this cleaning to make sure the image and the brand stays firm and is good. So my appeal to you, the members, is that don't become counterproductive, because we're trying counterproductive because we're trying to get this done right for the good of us here in the diaspora. Please don't be taking us backwards. We have a structure in place. If you have any grievances, we have a board of trustees that can help you address your complaints. There is no need to go take your rant on social media or do a whole article tarnishing the image of the organization.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, Tukikube ndobo. I flip into my Uganda, of course, the program Anjita Mugamba Mutia, because I like to talk to people. Thank you all for joining this evening. Let me take a question from Mr. Zimbe. Where is my comment section here? Mr. Zimbe had a question earlier. Mr. Zimbe says right here, so what programs do you have to support Ugandan diaspora communities in the US? How do you facilitate cultural exchange between Uganda and the US? I don't know if you you want to answer him right now, or you want to get back to him?
I think we can answer that. It's kind of broad, and I think I've already shared some of the programs that we have, but I don't know which ones Mr. Zimbe may be looking at directly. But I also want to touch the bit of cultural exchange as well. But today we have resources that are available to the members. And when I say resources, I don't mean funds. I'm talking about resources. Like we have connections, contacts that are on the website for immigration help. Okay. Every once in a while, we share programs that are offered by the different institutions or colleges for those looking for opportunities in education and things like that. And we have programs, for example, like the life insurance program that is ongoing. And now, if you see, we have a program that the women are working on. That is also a new one that is growing just for the women. And then I can go on with, the technology bit and, the Wall Street and all that. But all this, Mr. Zimbe, all these programs, they are going to thrive based on the membership that is in them. Okay. As leadership, our role is to empower those different platforms. Each of them will have different leaders in them, and projects are coming out of those that are benefiting those that are involved. So whichever program specifically that you're interested in, you let us know, or you find out from those, if you're already in one, how best you can be active in that group. If you're not in any group, or if you have a whole new program you would like to suggest to us, those ideas are more than welcome. When it comes to the cultural exchange that we have between the US and Uganda, I think most of those programs, we try to work them along with the cultural, you want to call them the tribal associations, but they are more the cultural associations. So like NAMCA, the Toro Association, Buganda Bumo, Twegaite, and etc. So maybe in addition to that question, I would maybe, Mr. Chigun, if you don't mind, I would like to echo this, that UNA is very much open to working with these organizations. And, sometimes the leadership that you have in a particular association determines how that association operates. But for as much as I've known and all through the years, I can say that a lot of our cultural organizations started under UNA, okay? And I think it is time that, we structured ourselves well and benefited from each other. It does not benefit you to be struggling with a program on your own, and yet, UNA can be of help when it comes to some of these programs. I know some of the programs already are getting some funding through UNA as affiliate programs, but not all of them. And and I think if we put our heads together and understand what our priorities are, I think we will be able to serve the diaspora better. Thank you.
Yeah, no, actually, which reminds me, I was thinking to talk to you about that line there, because I know you're president of this umbrella organization, right? Uganda North America Association, but now Uganda, so we all come and culminate into this umbrella organization here in North America. But we have different formations, some based on culture and other, social groups, religion, or whatever it is. But because Uganda is multicultural, multifaceted, we formate and make these other pieces that where we hang out throughout until we come back into UNA annually at the end of the year. There's been some individuals who think, we don't need all of this. We should have just one thing. And my personal belief is that it's okay for us to have some of these smaller entities, but like you said, if we can find a way of collaborating and on where we have shared interests, and that reminds me, because I remember in your victory speech, I think in your Dallas convention, you talked about shared mission, shared objectives. I want to know from you if you think that is that okay to have these small formations? I know you've said it's better for them to come and find a way of collaborating with UNA, but do you think, is there a problem with that? Because I've seen some comments. I'm going into what I do on the side, which is watch what people are commenting about and trying to pick out the things that I see. That's Agafam Wengula. I'm watching people commenting about different things, but I've seen this. People think, what do we don't need all of this. Let's just have one organization. What are your thoughts about that?
Thank you so much, Salongo. So, and I agree with you. Looking at the different cultural organizations that we have, okay, we could all work together. All right. I was when I was making that speech, I gave that example that if you look at the local chapters today, okay, in the different cities, different states, most of them that are established as associations have a president, okay. From that community come members who are part of UNA. They are part of that community, for example, the Dallas community here today, but they are also, let's say, that one person, I'm talking about just one individual. That one individual is a member of the local organization. That same individual is also a member of Buganda Bumu.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's also a member of UNA. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So literally, we are all counting that one individual as a member. Okay. So if you look at it in general sense, these are all our people. So I don't get it why we are so divided that, these are our people or these are our people. We are all the same people. The only thing is, how do we, as leaders and the people that head these different institutions, how do we make sure we're serving these members well? Because I don't think that one individual, if he's receiving well from his local community and is getting the services he needs from Buganda Vumu, and is also happy with what he's getting in UNA, I don't think he would be dissatisfied.
Yeah.
That one individual would be able to recommend the three organizations to another individual, and that other individual would recommend to another. Okay. But what we're doing today is that a local chapter is acting alone. Okay. It is its own local chapter. Okay. So when it comes to anything to do with UNA, they are against it. Okay. But the members of that local chapter are UNA members as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Members in Buganda Vumu, this is an example. I'm not saying that the members in Buganda Vumu, but the members, those same members who are in Buganda Vumu could be against UNA as an organization. Okay. But they are members of UNA. Okay. So I think it goes into, it's us, the leadership of the different institutions, that need to talk and agree that the people we're serving are the same. And I can stretch this on. I didn't want to touch on all the other organizations as well. But we have organizations that you'd consider rival organizations to UNA. Okay. But UNA pools, maybe at our best, we pool anywhere from 2,000 to 2,500 members. Okay. To that convention. Like I shared earlier, today on our contact database, we have about 7,500 contacts that have been in and out of UNA over time. So on a good span, that is our reach today. But for members who actually come to our convention, maybe we get when we have good attendance, 2,000 to 2,500. That is the peak. That means out of the 65,000 or 85,000 people Ugandans living in the diaspora, UNA as a national umbrella is also still not making a dent. And yet here we are, the organizations struggling for the same people. And I bet you the people we're struggling for are the same 2,500 who attend UNA anyway. So, and this is the outreach we're trying to do today, that we as leaders need to understand that the people we're serving are the same. There is still a very big number of Ugandans out there that are not participating in any Ugandan related events or any Ugandan related activities. Okay. Why? Because we have not reached out to them. Okay. So should Buganda Vumu close? Should local chapter close? No, they should all operate. But we should streamline that structure, because there are those people who are tied so much to their cultural beliefs, okay, that they are drawn to going into a culturally organized event as opposed to attending UNA, okay? But if you are able to bring them out, maybe the president of UNA, if he's in attendance at a Buganda Vumu event, may talk about UNA, and that member will see a good program that UNA offers that applies to him, and they will get involved. Okay, this is all that it takes. It's the leaders aligning their values, streamlining that process, and aligning our values and objectives together, and then we just serve the membership. Today, I think in the US we have NAMCA, we have BKI, we have Toro, the Toro Association, and then we have Tukikube here in the was spread out through the US, but all I see is that we're communicating through the same WhatsApp platforms, okay? And these are the same platforms that, UNA members use, Buganda Bomu members use. So no one is doing something out of the ordinary to reach people out there that have no idea or that are not in any of these groups. Because remember, all these groups represent communities where Ugandans actually have a structure or some sort of organization. But we have communities that have no representation at all. Maybe there are 10, 15 Ugandans alone in that community, you know. So that is now where we need to go. And I am working with the office of our vice president and the director of development to see that we develop programs that we can reach even those communities that, you know, have no associations, to be able to align those members at least with a functional organization.
Wow. That is well thought out. Thank you. I like how you're thinking about it. It's okay. And let us just find a way of engaging with other. What they're doing is okay. There's no problem with that formation. But let us find a way of working together, and so that we can widen our reach. We all can work together and widen our reach and bring out more people, because, yeah, like you said, we have this set of numbers, and I've had numbers like Ugandans living in North America to the tune of, some people say 50,000. I don't know what the actual number is, but in any case, we are not bringing out.
It has to be, Mr. Chigun, it has to be more than that. When we, during the pandemic, the CDC was doing contact tracing, okay? Mm-hmm. And when they reached out, I think they thought UNA would be the organization that would have the database of all Ugandans living in North America. And we told them, no, the members we have are just members of our organization, okay?
Yeah.
But at the time, they said the information they had was for children who were born in the United States, okay? Children born here with maybe a parent or both parents acknowledging that they're Ugandan. So they had those statistics, and that number was about 33,600 at the time. So imagine that is just the number of people here who had kids. Yeah. Now you look at all our single youth, you know, the people who are out there who have not had children that have and were not born here. So that number is way big. And then you look at people who are in remote areas that were not even, you know, aware of at the time. So if you look at that number, yeah, it could be well over 65,000, I would say.
So we have a lot more to bring out. So there goes Mr. DJ Lawrence saying hello to you. He's got a question, but before I go to him, I want to finish up. Mr. Zimbe had a last question, which was over here. Let me see if this is the one. He had, voting rights back home. I think we need to address this one before we take a break. Voting rights. Mr. Zimbe is wondering, what about the situation in the diaspora regarding participation in voting rights back home?
Right. Thank you so much, Zimbe.
Before you became president, I think you guys were doing something over there on as far as that is concerned. Right. Yes.
So we had a meeting at the Electoral Commission in regards to that question. Thank you so much, Mr. Zimbe, for that question. We had a meeting at the Electoral Commission in regards to that. The process that it takes to get the diaspora to vote, based on what was explained, chances are we may not have it clearly defined by this election. Because according to the registration process for one to vote, of course, everyone knows today that you would have to have a national ID to be able to vote. And the information we are providing today to be able to vote to be able to get a national ID is also our information at home. It's not like I'm putting Lambert Etibot from Dallas, Texas, and this and that. Okay, so there is no way for NERA today to determine, because you're supposed to vote based on region, and this is an explanation that we were given, and that process has to be streamlined. Okay, so we are supposed to be required. These ballots are marked based on how many registrants are in a specific region. Okay, so the ones for Dallas should be for those people who register as people from Dallas. Okay, and it goes on, for those in Chicago and so forth. Right now, all our IDs show that we are all people. Our national IDs show that we're all people from Uganda. Okay, there is nothing on there that shows that we live here, and they still. It's a long process. And you can understand where they're coming from, unless they were to do away with that requirement, and according to them, it's in the Uganda Constitution on who should vote. Okay, so it would have to be adjusted specifically for the diaspora. Okay, but as it stands right now, constitutionally, we are not yet in that place to vote because we're still getting national IDs as Ugandans and not as Ugandans living in America. I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay, that makes sense. All right. Mr. Zimbe says, thank you for the good work. Not Mr. Zimbe, DJ Lawrence. Back to DJ Lawrence. He says, thank you for the good work, Mr. President. His question is, what are your views about Ugandans that have refused purposely to become members, and then yet they demand services from DJ Lawrence? Purposely, I don't know how it. Purposely, is that purposely? Okay, I'm not becoming a member.
DJ Lawrence, thank you for that question. By the DJ Lawrence, thank you so much for what you do in UNA, and thank you for always being a member. Yeah, that is a very good question, Mr. Lawrence. And Mr. Chigundu, I think it relates to what we're just discussing in terms of these different organizations. That you want to be part of something before you start giving ideas or suggestions or anything like that. Today, we Ugandans that live in the diaspora, because of the exposure and the education and all these different things that we've attained, we tend to be extremely opinionated, and I say that in a good way, because we kind of have a say or an opinion in every matter. It could be Israel, Palestine, it could be Ukraine, Russia, it could be Ugandan politics, it could be Europe. We have a say in everything. The thing is, these are political issues or these are world affairs. When it comes to issues that actually pertain you, like an organization like UNA, or a local chapter like the Dallas chapter here where I live, it's a requirement that before you start giving whatever opinions and all that, be part of something, because you don't see people giving ideas to something that they are not part of. You become part of something and then you help build it. It's just it's absurd that someone wants to give you an idea, but they don't want to be part of that thing. How well am I supposed to take that idea? You see? Yeah. So, because if you remember, then one, I respect your idea because I know you want well for this organization. Okay. And then when you give your idea, that idea is very welcome. And now to answer Lawrence, we have a process for those that require services. And we usually ask them to submit bids. And it is through those bids that we ask, because it's just hard to get a service provider to provide a service for an organization they do not understand. We would rather work with our members who understand the organization well. Thank you.
All right, Mr. President, before I let you take another break, let me piggyback on that, because you talked about the politicking and everybody having an opinion about something. Mr. President, is there too much politics in UNA? Because I know this is one of the things that I have seen people say that turns them away from this organization. What do you have to say? What have you seen? Is there too much politics in UNA?
Thank you so much, Salongo. There is no politics in UNA. The politics is in the members of UNA. Okay, and allow me to explain that. Yes, allow me to explain that. Yeah, UNA as an organization is non-political. Okay, we are not leaning. We are not Republican. We are not Democrat. We are not FDC for Uganda. We are not NRM. We are not NUP. We are not DP or UPC or any of that. No, we just serve the Ugandan diaspora, and we serve members here in North America, Canada, and Mexico. It's really that simple. Now, the people we serve are free to align themselves with the different, whichever way they want, as we serve their interests. Yeah, but and that's why when you see in the platforms that we have, we kind of step in for behavioral control and not their views, because their views are their views. Okay, but when we see that this fight is not healthy for you as members of this organization, we put a stop to that. But we don't take away your views. Your views are your views. And really, if you look at it, even with the calmness that we've created today in the organization, the political topics continue to trend, and our members continue to fight and argue about this, because it's something that applies to us, and people have to talk about it. So we can't take that away from them. All we ask is that you be respectful to each other, and learn to agree to disagree as you debate on these issues.
Okay, Mr. President, is everybody welcome, irrespective of their political beliefs, their political ideology, or cultural leanings, or anything? Is everybody welcome in the Uganda North America Association?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They are most welcome.
I thought you were going to give me a long line. They're absolutely welcome. All right. So thank you very much.
They just have to become a member. Thank you.
Become a member. That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see if I have any other questions coming through. Mr. Speaker said earlier, that was a compliment, Mr. President. We couldn't have someone better to replace our beloved IPP, Madam Henrietta, than you. Keep up the good work and your executive.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Speaker, so it looks like Mr. Speaker is maintaining a good relationship with these other organs now that Mr. Speaker comes in. How is the relationship with the other, has these other organs? How is that? How are you handling that thus far? In the previous, I've seen some contentions, some contradictions here and there. How are you thus far handling that?
Thank you so much, Igondo. So far, so good. We have a fully constituted council, and Mr. Speaker, Mr. Patrick Kato, is doing a good job in the council. And so far, all the tasks that they are supposed to have done by now are already achieved. We already have the budget passed for the convention, and I believe all now they have to do is to do the outreach in their communities. But so far, they are doing a good job in the council. And this is also an entirely new council. And I feel the representation is also good, because the deputy speaker is from Canada as well. And the speaker is from Chicago. Deputy speaker is from Canada. And the secretary is from California. So they're spread out, and so far in all the meetings they've met quorum, and that's a very good sign. It shows that everyone is eager to serve. So we are good. We are good on that.
And speaking of contradictions, coming out of Dallas, I know I was watching and following some other contradictions about the constitution, right? How is that gone?
Right.
Are we under the old or new constitution? What I know, I asked Madam Secretary about it, and I think she gave me an answer. But if you have anything to add and to clarify or even amplify, please communicate.
Right. So we are under the new constitution, and what I can say is that whenever you have a new constitution, it doesn't like to practically apply. You don't see it like that, but it applies step by step. Like, for example, for the convention that we're doing in DC, you will notice that we have Madame Chantal as the chairperson for that committee, for the convention organizing committee. Mm-hmm. That wasn't the case before. Before, we would have to go into the community and source a leader from that community to be the one chairing the convention. Now, with the new constitution, it is the executive secretary that is supposed to do that role, and that is what we've done. So, but we're applying it as we go on. Of course, also for the membership, today everyone has to renew their membership at $50 because constitutionally all our memberships ended at the end of September. 1st October, we were all required to renew membership. So most of you out there, your membership is pending, and you need to pay it whenever you get a chance.
Interesting. What about convention selections now, the cities? How is that going forward with the new constitution?
So I believe with the new constitution, we're required to select 4 cities at a time. So when we get to the selection for 2025, because DC was already selected by the time we got here, by the time we got to that constitution. But now, when we go into the selection for the next cities, we will be following the new constitution in that regard.
Okay, so after DC, now you're gonna pick out the next 4, and that is
right.
done by a committee. Done by a committee, if I remember,
right.
Something like that.
There is a selection committee.
All right, Mr. President, I've been talking to you for almost 2 hours. A quick small break. I don't see any other questions. Thank you all for staying with us. I am going to now have you give us some updates about the upcoming convention, now that we're speaking conventions. And then we will start to wrap it up. But thank you very much, all of you, for staying with us. And thank you, Mr. President, for clarifying, engaging with us, and coming out here, and for honoring my invite to come and engage and communicate. I see a question here that I want you to react to when we come back from the break. That's Mr. Stillman Shan. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that very well, but I think that I recognize that name from your community in Dallas, Texas. He's got a question for you there, but let me give you a moment if you have to grab a little drink. I know I've been talking to you. You need to fuel up and that sort of a thing. So let's take a quick commercial break.
songa muziki ya kuwala nenga watunula muwala ila mukuya bamuwaziza kubikuwanga tabafuna batukube nako n'ebizibu byawe akuseera mpatale kyokateko yombesa kuwola bakale babali n'essanyu lekaleka tubikole wama batali musembere tubikole otegera sango kanga mwabo sango abafunya mugongo
DJ Johnny.
What's good, baby, bonjour. Kuchi abikukola kwa juju. Mifanya nivyo na bitimba timba munju. Norecho kukuita changu.
Yes, mugamba mutya Bulaaya mugamba mutya Saalongo Kigondu wano nga bulijjo owa wano mu masekati ga America amawulire diri siri mawulire ero ndi ku program mugamba mutya nga nvudde mu mawulire kati nassazeewo nina okulaba nga ntuula n'abantu mu community benda abantu balina bye batugamba era nina essanyu lingi olwokuba nti president wa Uganda North American Association oba gamba nti Senkulu yakkiriza okujja wano tuwayeemu naye era kakati kamukomyewo ku lutimbe wano addemu ekibuuzo ekivudde mu community ya Dallas, Texas ate n'oluvannyuma tutandike okugalawo naye nga tannaba kukiddamu sebo DJ Lawrence neyanzizza naawe webale as always obuwagizi n'okkubya ne byonna byokolera community. Thank you so much for your support and all that you do in the community and for you now. Omuziki guno tubeera tuguwuliriza nga tuzze tunyumirwa mu kisenga wali naye nga there's a lot of work that goes on into the background and you are one of the contributors, so thank you very much. So kale Mr. President, there is a question for you from your own community. What say you? How is UNAA working with the embassy to extend services within reach to our communities? Okay, so that's here's a question.
Sorry, I think I was muted. Okay, thank you so much, Chigundu, for that question. And still mention, thank you so much for that wonderful question. So in the past, we've gotten calendars from communities to be able to share with the embassy. So we can prepare them, just have them aware of what's going on in the different communities. But I believe the services that right now are most needed, of course, number one would be in Dagamontu, the national ID. And then the second one would be the passport services. But I think this is something we will have to follow up with our local communities, because as we speak, the embassy is going to be doing those similar programs in May in some of the some of the cities where the cultural or tribal associations are going to be holding events. It's going to require a lot more planning for a local community to invite the embassy to carry out that kind of service. Because with time, what the embassy has noticed, if an event is poorly organized and people are not informed beforehand that, you know, those services are going to be offered, the turnout is very low. And, you know, it beats the purpose. You can't fly the whole processing team at the embassy to a city to work on, you know, 10 people, and it just does not make sense. And yet they are out there for 3 days or something like that. So, but again, we are in touch with the embassy, and these services, the embassy is very, very willing to offer them. They just need prior planning. So still mention, I think, I know you're here in Dallas, and I think that we can arrange with the local community here, just like how we had that happen sometime last year in May. We can arrange for that to be done again. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. President, for that answer.
The Ugandan North American Association, UNAA, invites you to their 36th Annual Convention and Trade Expo 2024 from August 30th to September 2nd at the USA capital, Washington, D.C. Book your hotel at Gaylord Resort National Harbor. Entrepreneurs, vendors, exhibitors, artists, all are welcome. Come enjoy a weekend of business, networking, culture, and entertainment. Register today at Post Bank or Housing Finance Bank near you. Registration is $240 only. Be part of the 36th Annual Convention and Trade Expo 2024 from August 30th to September 2nd at the USA Capitol, Washington, D.C.
All right. Of course, that is a old commercial of mine. I like it. It was well done. And I think Mr. Engole works on some of those. Of course, the amount is increased. I don't know if that is the accurate number. I saw the treasurer trying to correct us earlier. What is the actual registration fee as we stand today? Now we are starting to gather updates about the upcoming convention. What is the fee to Suvirechi Tango Kwesunga? Do we know who is going to entertain us? What? I know the technology forum is going to be there. What else can we expect? So let's, Mr. President, please give us some updates about the upcoming convention.
Thank you so much, Salongo. Yeah, so the convention is in full gear. We're at the U.S. Capitol, Washington, D.C., and we are at the National Harbor. The hotel is the Gaylord. You asked what the current rate for registration is. It is $270. And let me be specific there. That $270 covers you for the rest of the weekend. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The goal this time is that if we sell out, we will not be offering dinner tickets like how we've done in the past. So if you're out there and you're trying to wait to just buy dinner, chances are you will miss out on the dinner ceremony. So try and plan accordingly. I know $270 is kind of hefty for some of you now, but it all takes prior planning. And this is quite a costly place, but it's reasonable for the 3 days that we will be there. Also, maybe what I can say is look out for our Easter discount. That's probably the last discount we will have for this period of time. Because then the next holiday, we will be at $300 for the 3-day weekend. And the only discount we'll be giving will be $270. But during Easter, we're going to have an Easter discount, and look out for that, okay? Otherwise, for the rest of you, please, if you want to secure your spot, go ahead and register now. The hotel is selling out. We just added on 100 rooms. If you're out there, and Salongo, if I could, I don't know how best I can ask this. Okay. If the members could just hear us and do what we ask them, especially when it comes to the hotel. Because I've been doing conventions. This is going to be my 5th convention while in leadership. It would be the 7th if I counted the other 2. But it bothers me when people arrive at the hotel and they have nowhere to sleep, okay? Because this should be something everyone should secure first, that you need to secure where you're going to sleep. Today, if you're out there and you haven't booked your room, the link is available. If you do not have the link, request for that link or go to our website on the convention page. But all you have to do is pay for the first night. It's about $221. You don't have to pay for your entire stay, okay? The Gaylord has 2 different views. You have the atrium view and then the outside view. If you're staying facing the inside of the Gaylord, I believe your room is about $234. If you're facing the outside, your room is going to be $194 a night. So if you're staying Friday to Monday, your total is about $783 with taxes included. all you have to pay is 200, about 210 or something like that for your first night. Do that and have your stay secured. Okay, because if these rooms run out, for those of you that are familiar with contracting with hotels, we only have a certain timeline when we can increase dates. Increase the amount of rooms. Once that day passes, then we won't be able to add any more rooms. And if you're familiar with the National Harbor, it is really pricey. The next hotel opposite the Gaylord is the Residence Inn. And the Residence Inn is $365 a night. So we really have a good deal at $194 at the Gaylord. And again, I'm appealing to you, if you haven't booked your room yet, go ahead and book that. Also, Washington, D.C., we will have an actual boat cruise. It won't be a night on the Nile in the ballroom. This time we'll be having our night on the Nile on the Potomac River. So if you want to cruise away with us on a fully loaded boat cruise, full of entertainment and good refreshment and all inclusive. Yes. So what we did in San Francisco, we're doubling it in Washington, D.C., and we're giving a payback for what we missed in Dallas. So the boat cruise for Washington, D.C. is going to sell very fast. So if you haven't secured your spot, please do so. We will be doing our best to advertise and share the programming with you, but the responsibility is on you, the member, to actually secure your spot. Once these things sell out, we cannot help you.
Thank you. Oh, fantastic. Thank you very much, Mr. President, for all the time that you have given me today. It's almost 2 hours. I'm making you talk. I would like to think that you're starting to get tired of me. If you so, please do.
No.
But before you get tired of me, I don't want you to get off air here. You're already in Dallas, but get off the air and get into trouble at home. I have to give you the opportunity to talk about that.
Thank you so much.
How can you not talk about that, Mr. President?
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So just in relation to the programs we were talking about that we're doing for the ladies, the First Lady and her team took on the initiative to organize a program for the women. And this is the high tea. It looks like it's a get-together kind of event, but this is a very educative program that the ladies have put together. And I think they have some of the most prominent speakers that are going to come and address, so many issues: mental health, family, our social well-being, and all these different things. And of course, matters that only ladies know about. And also, while they do that, they are going to recognize the strengths that women offer society and all these different things. So if you're a lady out there, I think this is a program that you don't want to miss out on. I'm still to find out if there will be an option for them to share part of it online, but whatever is recorded, we'll share it with the rest of the membership. But this program is going to be one for the books, and I advise every lady out there to be part of it. Thank you so much, Igund.
All right. Thank you very much. You see, I had to get that one in there. Let me see if we have any questions. I wanted to see if we can get, I'm testing a new feature here, which is the studio line for ability for people to call in and talk if they have a question. Now I am opening up the studio line, and if anybody wants to test it for me, I know Madam Secretary tried it earlier. Looks like I couldn't hear her, but I would like to give the opportunity to whoever wants to call and talk at this time. The line is open. 815-596-0767. 815-596-0767. If anybody wants to ask a question verbally, this is your opportunity to do so. The studio line is open. 815-596-0767. That's a new...
Yeah, Mr. Chigunda.
Yes. You can
Yes.
hear me?
Yes.
Okay. One second, Mr. President.
Call from
Chantal Mbabazi.
to accept, press 1. To send a voice.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you surely. You're calling in to Tukikube.com Mugamba Muchabulaya program. May I know who I'm talking to?
Salongo, this is Chantal Mbabazi, the Executive Secretary. I want to thank you for taking the time to host our President, Mr. Lambert Etibot. The engagement was helpful. The engagement was full of information that our members out there needed to hear. And I think it has emphasized the need for members to register and book their hotel rooms that are selling out. And like he mentioned, there are 100 rooms that were added onto our block. I can say that they are selling out. And also to let our members know that some of the days have already sold out. So the earlier they reach out and book those rooms is going to be very, very helpful. We don't want people to be embarrassed at the day of the convention when they don't get a place to sleep. And I think I did mention this in my interview that the closest hotels are very, very expensive compared to the rate that Gaylord gave UNAA. So this is an opportunity for everyone out there to make sure that they book their rooms at the hotel where the event is going to take place. I can't emphasize more than the president has to ask people to pay for their registrations, because there won't be any option for paying at the day of the event or paying for specific days or paying for the dinner. We won't be accepting cash. We won't be accepting payments. And this is done to help us, the organizers, to help the hotel to ensure that the people that we plan for actually are the people that we are going to be serving. So thank you so much, Mr. President, for taking the time to come and talk to your people. People have been asking us, President, you have a Mumulete. Thank you for coming. And Salongo, thank you for giving the organization this opportunity through our president to come and talk about the objectives of the organization, the programs of the organization, and of course, the upcoming convention. Thank you so much, Salongo, for always giving us a platform to communicate to our membership.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Secretary, for all you do, for your stepping up to serve the organization. Like I was talking to you, I mentioned when I was talking to you that I believed and support this. I believe in and support this organization, continue to support it, because I believe in its potential to bring us together as Ugandans living in North America. We have these other formations that we have, and those are okay, and they're good, and they're helpful. We love them. But we need a venue where we come all together, all of us together. We have challenges. It's up to the members to get onto those challenges and to solve any contradictions that there may be. Politics is one of the things that people complain so much about. It's up to the members to extract that out of the organization, do what they have to do. But we support and love the organization because it is Uganda, and that is important. I gave an example of a story coming out of Dallas. Someone gave me a ride, Nigerian gentleman. And I think we're doing Uber, so he had featured a couple of rides between the airport and the hotel throughout that weekend. And he said, all of you, that many people under one room, how do you guys do it? How do you collect? He's like, in Nigeria, it is impossible. It will never happen. It will never happen. So it is something good that we have, and we're better off keeping it. So that's why I continue to support. Thank you very much, Madam Secretary, for calling in. All right. So I don't know if we have any other question.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Mr. Odoy.
From
Odoy Robert.
to accept.
Okay. Hello? Hello, I think I saw a call in from Mr. Odoy. Mr. Odoy, please try again. I know we were talking to Madam Secretary. I wasn't able to answer you, but please try again. The line is open. Mr. Odoy, I saw your call coming in. I'd like to give you the opportunity to ask your question. Please try again. The line is open. So, Mr. President, that was Madam Secretary adding on to what you just said. I don't know if you, yeah. So she emphasized and doubled down on what you said because that's what she has to do. She's doing what you used to do. How is she doing, by the way?
Doing a very good job. A matter of fact, maybe we need to call on, we did share information, but if you own a business, we're running the business week, and if you own a business and haven't submitted your business, please do so. You can just submit your information. It could be a flyer or a write-up. Submit it to info@unaonline.org, or you can just write to the secretary herself, secretary@unaonline.org. We will begin sharing these different businesses this coming week and empower our community. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So let me see if I can dial out to Mr. Odoy, who was trying to reach out. Hello, Mr. Odoy. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hello, Sebo.
Hello, Sebo. Can you hear me? Oli live ku tukikube.com, tuli ku program Mugamba Mutia on talking to the UNA president. Did you have a question? I saw you trying to call earlier.
Yes, I wanted Mr. President to expound more about the First Lady.
The Kachai, the tea program.
The First Lady Kachai program. Yes.
Expound a little more. Okay. I see. Let me see if when I get him back. Looks like he may have frozen a little, but I'll ask him to expand when he comes back. Thank you very much for calling in.
Alrighty.
Bonabo mu Wisconsin batulabire abagambe tubatumidde nnyo era tubeesunga okubalaba Michigan bonna mu bungi tubeesunga tulinayo enteekateeka eriyo gy'omanyiko naye batulabire nnyo.
Sure, we shall be there.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much once again for sticking out with me for all this time. Mr. President, I think network connection, he kind of disconnected there, and I'm hoping he's going to be back. But in the meantime, I'm wrapping it up. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, with me today. I have not been doing live shows in a while now, but today I decided to do one of these. I used the opportunity as Mr. President comes back to again apologize to my guests, Mr. Nyenje and his team, who I had scheduled to come on right after this segment, but because I did not want to hash anybody, I kind of took a step back and I said that I don't want to bring them on here and then have to rush them up out of here, because we know we have family and all those other obligations. Right now, I have to run and go and take my daughter somewhere to an engagement. So I knew that time is going to be crunchy, and I was going to hash Mr. Nyenje and his team. So I am engaging again on that front and having to bring him on another day, another time and date that works for all of us. But thank you very much. Thank you all for staying with me this evening. I think Mr. President has exhausted the questions and answered all of them. I don't think I need to wait for him to come back. When Mr. Odoy was asking, I could see his screen froze, which tells me network connectivity, he might be working through that. But his question, we can answer and follow up offline. Mr. Odoy wanted to know more about the upcoming Kachai Kachai T. Kachai. Oh, there he is, Mr. President. You're back. I was closing. The question was from Mr. Odoi, who wanted you to add a little more beef. I don't know what additional detail you can add, but he wanted to know about the tea program from the First Lady. That was the question. And I think that's going to be the last one. And we call it a day.
Thank you so much, Salongo. I did miss the question. Sorry. Somehow I got dropped.
Yes, you got. So Mr. Odoi said, all he said was that, can you provide a little more detail about the First Lady's extravaganza program?
Yeah, so like I was saying, this is it's more a build-up of the women empowerment program. What we're trying to do here is to make sure the ladies have a continuous program that they run that handles, affairs that are related to the challenges women go through. So it's going to be a discussion. I think right now they have Dr. Elizabeth Wachira, who is a professor here at, I think she's a professor at UT Dallas or UT Denton, something like that. She's at a university. And we have a few more mental health experts and people who deal with basically social works and things like that. And then I think an invitation has also been extended to the ambassador and a whole other group of people that are going to be part of the event and speaking to the ladies. There's going to be an element of, recognition for, women who have excelled in areas of leadership and education and all these different things. So, it's a whole discussion, but there's a whole team managing that. I am not so much into it. And that is a project that has been handed to the First Lady to push forward, being that she's part of it. Thank you.
Okay. So you're not nosing yourself into the First Lady's business.
No.
All right. Mr. President, thank you very much for accepting my invitation to be here today and for allocating all this time to talk to the community. I appreciate you using this platform to reach out. I wish you a very good evening going forward. Go back to family. Say hello to everybody in Dallas for me. Bandabire nnyo obagambe nti mbatumira nnyo.
Thank you so much.
You made me speak the English. I do most of what I do in my Luga flow, but today I had to switch it up. I hope I did well.
You did good. Thank you so much for having me. And members, thank you so much for listening to me for this. Wow, it's 2 hours. Thank you so much for listening to me for this long. I'm calling upon you to trust us to serve you better. If there are any ideas, any concerns, any programs, or just anything that you guys out there require us to do, or things that you would want to see UNAA do, let us know. We're keeping an open window, but also for the programs that we implement, we ask that you participate in them. If you can. And again, it is you're all ambassadors for this organization. Spread the good word for the good work that we're doing. If you benefit from this organization, hey, share it with someone else. Let's all work together to fix the brand of UNAA. And let's share together in that theme that Women's Day has taken today, that we need to inspire inclusion. So be included, be part of this that we're doing so we can all grow together and help one another. Thank you so much, Chigundu. And I appreciate that, you brought us here to your platform to be able to share this good word with the membership. I pray that you're rewarded for this time. And I hope that, this is only the beginning and we'll be invited again to continue sharing with the membership through your platform. Thank you so much and be blessed.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure, Mr. President. Have a great evening. Members, Musule Bulungi, thank you all.
The Ugandan North American Association, UNAA, invites you to their 36th Annual Convention and Trade Expo 2024 from August 30th to September 2nd at the USA capital, Washington, D.C. Book your hotel at Gaylord Resort National Harbor. Entrepreneurs, vendors, exhibitors, artists, all are welcome. Come enjoy a weekend of business, networking, culture, and entertainment. Register today at Post Bank or Housing Finance Bank near you. Registration is $240 only. Be part of the 36th Annual Convention and Trade Expo 2024 from August 30th to September 2nd at the USA Capitol, Washington, D.C.